Hello, Ryan.
Hi, Vincent. Let me get my phone charger
Okay.
because my staple food requires my phone today.
And you said there was an email, so I'm very excited.
Yeah, there wasn't an email, but I swear when I opened it, it said email. But I did get a report. The report isn't in my phone though.
This is this is exciting.
Yeah, so you have had to decide between two. Huh.
I had three topics, but I think the original one that I was going to go with is the most fleshed out, so I'm just going to go with that.
Yeah, well, before we continue, I guess I should say congratulations to the Red Menace. Let's
Wow, thank you.
let's check the score real quick. Sorry, my iTunes accidentally opened and then the space bar like started playing a podcast.
What was it?
Listening to a podcast or recording one. It was like the Directors Guild podcast.
Oh,
Yeah, as a member of the guild, I feel like I should. No, I'm not actually a member. In my wildest dreams,
that's that's interesting how it's called a guild, and we're not in medieval times or the Renaissance or whatever. How like if you were in a profession, you were part of a guild.
yeah, the film industry is very rigid with their vocabulary. So everything's still a
Directors
guild.
Guild,
Screen Actors Guild,
Screenwriters Guild.
Writers Guild. Yeah, they like their phrases. They got all their funny phrases. So Andy Dalton is on pace for about 10 points. He's
My
got
God.
74 pass yards, a rush attempt, 3 yards, and he lost a fumble. While Jameis Winston scored 30 off the bench. Currently, the score is, well, can you guess the score if you had to guess without looking?
I'm gonna guess 155 to 76.
Vincent, you clearly underestimated me and overestimated yourself. It is 154 to 79.5.
Okay.
Excuse you.
I was just a tad off.
That was a good job. Good job by you. Man, this
Well,
season's over. So I'm already gambling to. I already told you I'm already gambling to win my fantasy money back.
yeah, I don't know if we should implicate the person you're gambling through.
Yeah, we don't need to. It's okay.
Then it's like he gets kicked out of school or whatever.
Oh man. Okay. So should we start with yours? Winners either go first or they choose who starts.
Let's switch it up because you went last, so you can start first.
All right, Vincent. So, like I said, I was waiting on a report. I have the report. What I did was I turned on screen time on my iPhone. Do you know anything about what screen time is?
No, what is that?
It it tracks your screen time for the week,
Oh,
and then it gives you different stats based on the different apps that you were on and stuff. And it was a yeah. I when I first turned on screen time and I knew it was tracking me, I was probably more cognizant of the fact, and I tried to stay off my phone. And then after that, no.
do you compare it with people like, oh, look at, like, oh, I use my phone like so little this week compared to you or whatever?
That would be cool if they gave national averages. I'd be interested in that, but they didn't give national averages. I could probably ask Joyce what her stats are, and we could compare stats. And I think my stats got moved a little bit because originally I did Monday to Sunday, but now because we waited till today, this is Tuesday to Monday. So I'll go through my stats.
Okay.
And here we go. So I averaged 220 minutes of screen time on my iPhone per day. This is up 95% from last week. Any thoughts?
Well, wait. So you averaged 220 minutes of screen time on your iPhone this week, and that's up 95% from last.
Yeah, 2 hours, 20 minutes.
2 hours, 20 minutes. And this is up 95%. Well,
So I was probably around like 1 hour per day, or like 1 hour and a half per day last week. And I will somehow ballooned up to 220 per day.
well, here's my guess. You were using your phone to record Staple Foods Part 1.
Oh, unfortunately, that's not true. I was using my laptop. So
Oh, okay.
this is rough, and it's a good way to turn your life around. Social networking. So 2 hours, 20 minutes per day.
Oh, no.
That's about, let's call that 14 hours in a week, right? 2 hours times 7, 14 hours. Out of the 14 hours, what do you think my social networking was?
Oh, I'm going to say out of the 14 hours, you used 10 hours of social media.
Woo! I went under 5 hours, 10 minutes, but that's still a lot of social networking. What about entertainment?
Entertainment, I'm going to say 3 hours.
Entertainment was 2 hours, 15 minutes, and then other was an hour and a half. My weekly total was 16 hours, 23 minutes. 16, that's more than half a day I was on my phone. That's sad. That's like 2 full work days. That's like 2 full days of productivity right there.
Oh, wait, so
Uh,
5 hours of social media, 2 hours of media or entertainment, sorry, 1 hour other, then there's like 6 more hours of what?
yeah, that's true. I don't know. I'll go through my most used.
Okay.
Instagram. Do you think that was, well, I mean, I kind of spoiled it, but do you think that's top or bottom? Instagram.
Oh man. Well, I'm gonna say up there because I feel like that's your primary social media platform.
Yeah, Instagram was 3 hours, 2 minutes. Um, I'm going to give you three choices. What do you think is next? Safari, TaskRabbit, or iMessages?
Wow. I'm gonna say iMessage.
Safari, 1 hour, 51 minutes. Next one is TaskRabbit, an hour, 18 minutes. iMessage, an hour, 15 minutes. Google Maps, 52 minutes. Twitter, 52 minutes. And then Saturday, I downloaded a game and it made a late surge to get on the top 7. So in one day, I played this game Uphill Run for 32 minutes. And then
Nice.
haven't played it since. I always download these games and then I just stop playing them.
You were on Twitter for 52 minutes and you didn't like any of my posts. I'm hurt.
I don't like tweets. I don't like tweets, but I actually thought to myself that I should start liking tweets just to keep a running record of like things that I'm into. So I'm sorry. I didn't hold myself to that, but I will now.
Hey,
Uh,
that's pretty good. I think 14 hours a week, that doesn't sound like a lot.
yeah. I mean, that's like, yeah. It's just weird to think that you're on your phone for about as long as every day you're on your phone for the same amount of time as like the Dark Knight movie. Like 2 hours, 2.5 hours. I
Uh,
guess I was high this week though. I was high in my count, up 95%. So there's also YouTube 29 minutes, Google 25 minutes, music 25 minutes, fantasy football 22 minutes. Vincent, I probably should be on the fantasy football app probably like 3 hours instead of 22 minutes. That's probably why I lost by like 80 points.
I wonder if there's a correlation between the amount of time you spend on the fantasy football app and your winning percentage.
I think there is because whenever I see the standings at the end of the year, our friend Dastiger is always in first place, and he's made like 100 moves, and then the person in last place has always made like 7 moves.
Yeah. But then again, I also make a ton of moves, and I usually am not up there. So maybe I'm just making the wrong moves.
And then the last interesting thing on this screen time report is pickups. How many times I pick up the phone per day? Do you have a guess?
Oh, let me see. I'm gonna say you pick up your phone 20 times.
101 times per day on average.
100? What? How would they calculate that? Like how many times of man, that's weird.
They probably figure out how many times you turn the screen on or unlock your phone.
Oh, okay. That makes
So
sense.
if I'm on my phone 2 hours and 21 minutes per day from this last week, 100 pickups per day. So that's like 140 minutes per day, 100 pickups. So every time I pick up my phone, I'm usually on it for like 14 minutes on average.
Holy.
Does that sound like a lot? Like I pick up my phone and I'm looking at it for the next 14 minutes on average.
Um, I feel like that sounds like a lot. I don't know.
Yeah, there's probably a high variance. Like sometimes I pick it up, look at it for like 30 seconds, respond to a text. And then other times I pick it up and I'm just like I start watching like a YouTube video or reading an article or scrolling on Instagram, I guess. So first used after pickup. I'll give you the top 4 first used after pickup. You got to put them in order. We got Instagram, TaskRabbit, music, and messages. Instagram, TaskRabbit, music, messages.
I'm gonna say music first, Instagram second, TaskRabbit third, messages fourth.
That's awesome. You actually did the exact reverse order. So messages was
What?
first, TaskRabbit was second, Instagram was third, music was fourth.
Oh my god.
Messages had 122 pickups, TaskRabbit 66, Instagram 49, music 22, first used after pickup. And yeah,
Felt like I understood you better. It's like, oh, you go for the Instagram. And you go for the wait, did I mess it up?
well,
I
maybe the thing is like I get a text message, then I reply to the text because that's my first used after pickup. But then I leave the text message and then I just pop on Instagram because I do use Instagram the most for the most time, but I don't go to it. I
oh
don't
okay.
go to it first after I pick it up.
That makes okay, that makes total sense.
So that's kind of a good sign for me to like cut down my screen time. Like if I pick up my phone to respond to a text message, all I have to do is stop myself from switching over to Instagram. And then that'll cut down my screen time. my big chunk of 3 hours of Instagram screen time.
Do you feel like you learned a lot about yourself through the screen time app?
Yeah, I think I know when it happens. It's usually like Saturday morning, and I don't want to get out of bed, and that's when I log like heavy hours. And I think it's all heavy hours are also like before I go to bed. And usually I have the excuse that I'm like, I'm tired, so I'm just going to do this.
Yeah.
But I think a good thing that I should do is just pivot that into reading a book.
So
So
true.
I have some books. I have a book that I'm almost done with, but I'm taking a while to finish it. But if I just pivoted those 3 hours of Instagram over to that book, I would have been done. Would have been on to the next. Yeah.
That's how it is with me too. Because when I'm sleeping, I feel like right before I sleep, I could be doing something productive, like read a book, but then I end up just like watching a YouTube video or something.
Yeah. I think we make too many excuses, Vince, to
It's just
take that
easier.
easy. Yeah. We're always like, you know what, Ryan, or you know what, Vincent, be gentle with yourself. And then you just go on the path of least resistance, the passive path.
Go easy on yourself there, big guy.
Yeah. So I don't know. I feel like much more of a professional these days. I've been using my calendar a lot on my phone, which is cool.
Ooh.
And
Google Calendar? Or
that was on my top 4 for what apps gave me the most notifications. The calendar app on my phone. Yeah.
dude, I
But yeah.
love Google Calendar. Super
Yeah.
organized. Get those notifications.
Yeah. Yeah. And then, let me set my time. Let's see if I have that time. See if I have that bandwidth. Lowest notifications Saturday, Sunday. That makes sense. And that's all I got. And I already got my other idea for next week. But I think we just learned.
Preemptive.
Yeah. We learned that we are slaves and that things were better in the past.
Wait, is that a pre? Is that supposed to be a preview?
No, that was the full report.
Oh, you're the slaves. Like you're connecting that to them.
Oh,
Wait, what?
yeah, to screen time.
Oh, okay.
We're
Slaves to
slave to
screen
screen
time.
time. Yeah.
I'm a slave for you.
What can I do? Can't get enough of you. Instagram.
The instant man. It's all the hype now. But never. I might have to vet about Instagram another time. That's my other staple foods, but I don't know how long and substantive that might be.
Yeah, do you have a little teaser for that?
I don't know. Oh, I was gonna talk about fantasy football as my staple food, but maybe I'll talk about it next week.
Yeah.
Something, yeah.
Well, one thing, I mean, it could be a good one to talk about today because you just beat my ass. And so there's a connection going on right there. There's shared
Well,
experience.
only in only my fantasies that did the Soviet Union win the Cold War. Only in my fantasy.
Yeah. Um,
But the fantasy football
yeah.
stuff, I didn't really think. I didn't take notes on it, so might have to be an adventure for next week.
Okay. Sounds good. Let's hear yours.
Well, my staple foods for this week is well, firstly, it's inspired by a post I saw on Reddit called "What the title of the post is "What's a question you hate when people ask you?" So my staple food's not really a question, but I found some interesting things in that Reddit thread that inspired me for the staple foods post.
All right, let's hear it.
Okay. So I'm going to say something I'm going to say an activity that's super stressful and dehumanizing. Can you guess what it is before I say it?
An activity that's stressful and dehumanizing.
Or something that
And,
you do that's super stressful and dehumanizing.
and it also has to do with a question that you hate being asked.
It was kind of related to. It's not the answer isn't a question, but it was a little bit related to it.
Is it work related?
It's kind of. I guess you could say it's work related.
Okay, so would you say your boss has done it to you?
No. No.
But it is work related. Stressful, dehumanizing, work related. For me, the thing that's stressful, I don't know if it's dehumanizing, but when I think of stressful stuff, I think of like public speaking,
Mm.
and I think that's where it is for me. Public speaking, getting feedback, getting observed.
That's really close because it kind of involves communicating yourself.
Is it asking for a raise?
No.
Is it walking by the desk that's always next to the bathroom and knowing that that person knows how many times you take a dump every day?
Or how long I take a dump for.
Yeah,
I'm just burning through company time.
I don't know, man. You
That's
gotta tell
pretty
me.
good. Okay.
Just just trying to relive my office days.
Your office days at one market.
Yeah, at one market and forgot the address of the other one. Maybe it was M Street or L Street in DC.
It's the stressful activity and dehumanizing activity I want to talk about is the job search process.
Oh yeah. You send out an email, you work on a cover letter, and then you don't hear anything back. Crickets.
Yeah. So let's see. Yeah. Basically, where do I start with this? Let's start with the dehumanizing part. Where you kind of have to pretend that you're someone else. You have to condense your entire life experience into a piece of paper, aka your resume. So and then you gotta make it sound like you gotta find that perfect line between being modest but also exaggerate enough so you look like you're actually skilled to do that job. You can't underscore yourself, but you can't exaggerate so much that you can't do the job.
So it's dehumanizing in the sense that you're pretending to be someone that you're not, or you're pretending to be more enthusiastic about the mission or pre-
Yeah.
well
Oh
prepared.
God.
So
Yeah,
then you turn into just a big ham, I guess. You just sound like a big
exactly.
ham.
Um. So you're pretending to be someone you're not, and it's like you're trying to convey your full creativity and the full essence of your being into just a one page resume. And then that's how people determine if you're qualified or not without, you know, knowing what you've been through or looking at your entire life.
Yeah, and you're at work. I would say 8 hours a day. You sleep 8 hours a day, and then you're outside of work 8 hours a day. And when you're outside of work for those 8 hours, you're doing whatever I'm doing. You're on Instagram 2.5 hours a day or whatever. So then
Yeah.
you're not really defining yourself, and then it does become like your work does become the thing that defines you, as opposed to the work you do outside of work. Because the work you do outside of work is let me pull up the work you do outside of work. It's 5 hours and 10 minutes of social networking, 2 hours and 15 minutes of entertainment, and an hour and 36 minutes of other.
Exactly. If I want to be an Instagram whore, I should be defined as an Instagram whore and not Vincent who works at XYZ or who does XYZ for a living.
That's right, man. You go off and yeah, it's the new crackhead. Be an Instagram whore. You just be a
Yeah.
guy, a homeless guy that's on Instagram that has no job and is just on Instagram 24/7. So how does this tie into the the Reddit post?
Someone mentioned that annoying question that they get that they hate is if someone asks them how the job search hunt is going. Then some people posted some insightful replies, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's really true. So yeah, like
Yeah,
what one thing they said was, what you said earlier, like when people apply for a job, they kind of have to start from step one. And if they don't get an interview or they get an interview and they don't get the job, you have to start all the way back from to step one and apply for another job. Like, you ever played Super Mario, Ryan?
yeah. So and then you get to the interview and you're the way your brain chemistry works. You convince yourself that this is the job, this is the one, and this is the place that you'd love to be, and then you don't get it, even if it isn't
Yeah.
the true, even if it is your like true love. But yeah, Super Mario.
Super Mario. Yeah, just when you get to the very last level and you run out of lives, then you start all the way back at level one, or the first level of that world. That's kind of like the job search.
Yeah,
And you run
and
out
then
of all your lives and your power ups, so it's like you're back to square one.
you just you copy and paste that cover letter template, and you highlight the things that you need to delete. It's kind of like in Super Mario, where you jump at this time and you duck at this time, then you get the fire
Yeah.
flower here. That's like repeating the template in the resume process.
Yep. It's like, oh, I feel like I've been at this level before, and then, um,
Does this mean you have like career news for us? Is that what you're hinting at?
wow, you had to ask that question, didn't you? And I just said, I'm just playing.
How's the job search going, Vincent?
Well, here, I'm going to tie this back into the feedback portion. Like, you never get any feedback about how well you did.
Mm-hmm.
So last October, or maybe it was September, I was at an interview, and I was, after I felt pretty good about the interview. I was told by an internal source that I did really well, and I was the top candidate.
Oh, mm.
And then I got straight up ghosted. Like, just like you never get any notification until you get the automated message like 3 months later, even though you've been contacting them about like, oh, what's the status? So it's just like you never know why they didn't choose you.
Yeah. But you know how long or how hard it is, or how how much of a priority it is that it took some guy 3 weeks to hit Command C and Command V and send send that rejection letter to you.
Yeah, you can just exactly. It's like, oh, let me just copy paste, Control C, my name, Control V, Vincent Louis into that rejection template, and then just hit enter. It's brutal.
Yeah, yeah. Do you have any other Interesting things from that Reddit post. There are other things you wrote down.
Um, let's see. Well, that was I think that was it. I guess this experience this staple foods only applies if you're kind of mediocre like I am. If you were like a techie who's super skilled, you might have like tons of interviews lined up and you could afford to like bomb one and not feel bad.
I think my question, the question I don't like being asked is, what genre of what filmmaking genre do you work in or create in?
What genre? So if they find out that you're a film student, they ask you like what genre you want to be in.
Yeah, what genre do you work in? Yeah, because
Hmm.
I
Why is
never
that?
genres genre isn't really a. I don't find it to be a thing, or at least I feel like the works that I look up to is they're never really considered a genre. And I think that only some people realize that there is the designation between a genre movie and a non-genre. Like non-genre is actually a phrase used to describe
On genre,
certain works.
why is it that or like what's the difference?
Non-genre?
Yeah, genre and non-genre.
Yeah, it's just that there's a when you hear genre, you just think of um, very distinct patterns or devices. The action movie genre, the horror genre, the comedy genre.
Hmm.
But I think that the thing is, even if like people end up making comedies or action movies or whatever, what they if I feel like what everybody aspires to do or what everybody looks up to is much more of the non-genre types. The more the people who like are successful enough or respected enough to just kind of recreate environments without having to commit themselves or sell their work as like a particular genre. As like it's just like a recreation of an environment, and there's funny things in that environment, and there might be physical things in that environment, and there might be dramatic things, but it's never really committed to one element.
That's true. I guess if you get successful enough, you can really just do your own thing and like do whatever movie you want.
Yeah, and it's just like you don't want to say like this movie is here to make you laugh. This movie's here to make you say, "Oh, that was really cool." Like that action sequence is really cool. It should, it shouldn't be limited to one purpose. But yeah, that's what I always get asked. So is it like drama or comedy? But like it never should be only one or the other.
That kind of reminds me of George Lucas because he's like people might think of him as like a sci-fi movie guy because he did Star Wars, but that was really his passion project. And it's not like, oh, he had to limit himself to Star Wars or whatever.
Yeah, he made American Graffiti, and I think that's a
Oh,
good
that was a
example.
great movie.
It's just like
Yeah, American.
recreating a world. It's not doesn't have to be strictly funny, strictly dramatic. It's just building like a really, really, really detailed landscape.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know. I just hijacked this whole topic. But is there anything else you want to go into?
Um, I think. Well, I think that's it. Although you can kind of see how the last part I talked about techies, so you can tell I have a burning hatred of techies that we'll talk about perhaps in the future.
So you feel like it's their confidence and their high degree of their high sense of security that rubs you the wrong way
I don't.
in this particular category or topic?
I don't know. I really don't know what it is. I think. I don't know. It might be. It might be political. I'm not sure. I gotta really think about hammer it home.
Yeah, I think the culture of the startup is that everybody is always acting like they can answer every question at all times, and they
Yeah,
don't ever want to admit that there is a question that they might hate being asked, because every time they get asked a question, it's like they have to put on a whole show and a whole flex.
that's true. And I don't want to go and derail our staple foods, but I think there's that culture and marketing that if you're in tech, the tech company has the answers for anything. You can use tech to solve any sort of problem in the world. I think that's the general vibe I get.
Yeah, and then it kind of carries over to how they might walk around the community and carry themselves outside of work in whatever community they live in.
Yeah, we're definitely approaching dangerous, controversial waters. That I gotta calm down before I start lashing out.
Well, you know the whole theory or conversation that like a conversation can only like a philosophical or intellectual discussion can only go so far before Hitler gets mentioned.
Yeah, what is that? Isn't that what's that rule called? Isn't there a name for that? I heard about that.
Yeah, that's definitely a thing, and it feels like our thing instead of Hitler, our Hitler is Techies.
Oh my god, that's so true. That's pretty true, especially in San Francisco.
Yeah, it's funny because you can never have a modest tech company that just wants to make money and be stable. You always have to be saving the world. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I'm just totally just bringing up an old topic you brought up like 2 minutes ago. I just couldn't help but keep talking about it.
You've opened Pandora's box.
Yeah,
Hold me back,
well,
damn it.
yeah, I guess to bring it full circle, like if you really want to save the world, um, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't even know what I was gonna say.
This ended up being a staple food.
Yeah, this just triggered our flight or flight hormones, and now we're just all disoriented. I was gonna tie it back into how they're ruining my life with what are they ruining my life with? It's it's where is it? It's no, 5 hours and 11 minutes of social networking, 2 hours and 15 minutes of entertainment, and an hour and 36 minutes of other.
Managed to get you somehow.
But they pat themselves on the back by giving me the tools to limit myself. There are screen time
That's
limits that I
so
can put on
funny.
myself. But I'm gonna say no. I'm going to do it all by myself, and I don't need you. So fuck you. And I'm gonna hold myself accountable. I will report my screen time next week so that we can compare.
Well, good luck on that endeavor. And I wish you the best of yeah, I wish you the best of luck.
Yeah, good luck on the job search too. Just let me know how it's going.
Oh, wow, thanks. Wow.
All right. Until next time, another staple
Until
food.
staple foods.
Yeah, I'm gonna go eat some staple foods right now because it is 7:15, dinner time.
Well,
Time for a little right.
I'm glad the staple foods gave you some hunger. You were hungering for food after this episode of Staple Foods. I think we achieved our goal.
We did. We could just keep dragging along this ending, going back and forth.
It's very thought provoking.
All right. I'll see you soon.
All right. See ya.